Okay, Sachin.
Okay, good morning everyone. So this is what we discussed yesterday. We discussed about in situ conservation. So today we will discuss about ex situ. Go to page number 17, ex situ conservation. This is what our topic is. Ex situ conservation is when you conserve the species outside their natural home. So examples of ex situ conservation is given. So let's look into that. Ex situ conservation. Example can be taken a DNA bank. In a DNA bank, what happens, as you can see in this image, what is happening here in this DNA bank? Genetic composition has been stored. You can see plant genetic material has been stored in test tubes in cold temperature. So genetic composition is stored in cold condition. This is a lab that you can see. This is a DNA bank. So why we are storing genetic composition like this? So that in future we can make hybrid, or we can do cloning. We can make clones of a species. We can duplicate it. We can multiply them. So that is why DNA banks are established. There is a place here, Lakhons. Lakhons is in Hyderabad. Lakhons is DNA Bank of India. So that means this place is a DNA bank. So what is being happened in Lakhons? DNA of most of the rare species have been stored here. DNA of most of the rare species of India: tiger, lion, elephant, great Indian bustard, snow leopard. Their DNA or genetic material has been stored here. Why? Let's say in future, great Indian bustard goes extinct. Very few are left, and great Indian bustards goes extinct. No great Indian bustard left in India. So what is the last option? The DNA that has been stored here, what we can do? We can clone great Indian bustard. We can multiply their numbers artificially. So this is our backup option for conservation. If all our plans fail, we are not able to protect a species and a species goes extinct. So what is the last option? This DNA Bank of India, where the genetic composition of rare species has been stored. See, this is the last option. Otherwise, cloning is not permitted in India. By default, we don't do cloning because we believe in nature taking its course. Cloning is a human intervention. So cloning by default is not permitted in India. You can say that why we are not doing it right now. If great Indian bustards are less, tigers are less, lions are less, we can clone them here. We can release them in the forest. That is a man-made intervention. Ethically and naturally, India don't intervene in natural processes. This is your last option. If everything else fails, this is what you can do. Take the DNA from Lacones, multiply their number, clone them when everything fails. So this is ex situ conservation, because you are conserving the species from a man-made intervention. This is not a natural process. Are you clear on this? Read about this DNA bank. Examples of ex situ DNA bank. So you can, the full form of LACONS is also written there, Laboratory for the Conservation of Endangered Species of Flora and Fauna. So DNA banks are ex situ. Let's see some other examples of ex situ. Botanical gardens. Botanical gardens are established in cities. They are made in urban areas, cities. For example, this is Botanical Garden of Ooty. If you go to this botanical garden, you will find more than 300 species of plants. It is a very big botanical garden and also a tourist attraction. Now, why botanical gardens like this are made? So that people who are living in cities can go to botanical garden, can see different types of plants. Awareness increases. Importance of plants, people understand that. Apart from that, you are conserving the plants at a same place. But this is a man-made structure. It is not natural. So botanical garden would be ex situ. Zoological gardens. Short, you call it zoo. This is Mysore Zoo, one of the largest zoo of India. So why zoological gardens are made? Zoological gardens are made to keep animals and birds. But again, this is a man-made structure. You are conserving animals and birds here. You are keeping tigers, elephants, and other species. But this is not their home. This is a man-made structure. So zoological garden is for animals. Botanical gardens are for plants. But both of them are man-made. So in which category they will come? Ex situ. Complete this. So the topic that we started yesterday, ex situ, in situ, we are done with that. So now you are able to differentiate between ex situ and in situ. There are two types of conservation. Now what we will do, we will see some definitions. Definitions which needs to be understood because they come in your current affairs. So the very first definition that we will see is umbrella species. What is an umbrella species? Umbrella species, how you can identify? See, umbrella species are large in size. First, they are big, large in size. Second, they live in large area. They need large area to survive. And third, which is most important, if you save umbrella species, if you protect umbrella species, there would be positive effect on nature. Other species will get benefit. Okay. So if you protect umbrella species, nature will get benefit from it. For example, elephants. Elephants are umbrella species. They are large in size. They live in large area. Okay. And if you protect elephants, there would be positive effect on the nature. How? See, elephants are large in size, they are heavy. When they walk in the forest, when elephants walk in the forest, due to their weight, large fragments of soil breaks down and fine soil is created. So due to elephant walking in the forest, soil formation happens. And if soil formation happens, more trees will grow. Forest will regrow. So if you protect the elephant, it would have a positive effect on nature. Other species will get benefit from it. So elephant is considered as a umbrella species. Okay, so umbrella species, large in size, lives in large area. If you protect umbrella species, other species will get benefit out of it. Read about this umbrella. Tiger, because first of all, they are large in size, they live in large areas, and if you conserve tiger, they will control the population of herbivores. If there is no tiger, herbivores will increase, they will damage the forest, they will eat more and more plants. So if tiger is there, herbivores are in control, and if herbivores are in control, less damage to the plants. Next definition is keystone species. Keystone. Keystone is a term taken from architecture. So during slave dynasty in India, this was introduced in India. Arc. Construction of arc in the buildings. You might have read this in art and culture. Arc was introduced. So when buildings were constructed using an arc, this used to be the keystone. Because the balance of the building depends on this. You take out this keystone, the building will become unstable. So keystone is necessary for stability. If you take out this, the stability of building is gone. Apply the same logic on nature. Keystone species, that is species which needs to be present there. If you remove keystone species, the balance will go. The stability of ecosystem or nature will go. So keystone species should be present. If you remove them, the ecosystem will change. Their presence is must. For example, sea otter. Yesterday you have written about sea otter, IUCN status near threatened. You have written about that. So sea otter is a species which lives in water. Sea otter consumes urchins. This blue species that you see here. Sea otter eats them. You remove sea otter. There is no sea otter. What will happen? Their population will increase. Urchins will increase. And they will destroy the plants. They will completely damage the plants. So plants are healthy if sea otter is present. Plants would be completely damaged if sea otter is not there. So presence of sea otter is needed. If you remove sea otter, whole ecosystem will change. So sea otter is considered as a keystone species. India has reintroduced cheetahs. So what you are reading in current affairs, cheetah reintroduction project of India. Cheetah is a species of grassland. It is a keystone species of grassland. So what it means by keystone? Presence of cheetah is needed for the health of grasslands. That is why India is bringing them back. It is an important species for the grasslands. Read about it. Okay, let's see the third definition then. Flagship species. What is a flagship species? Flagship species is that species which is used for marketing, advertisement. So when you make a species, a symbol, a icon, or a brand ambassador, that species would be called flagship species. For example, Assam tourism. Assam tourism, how they promote their tourism? By using rhinos. If you have seen the ad of Assam tourism, they will show rhinos in that. That if you want to see rhinos, you have to come to Assam. So that is how they promote their tourism. If you have seen the logo of Gujarat tourism, how they promote their tourism? By lions. That if you want to see lions, Gujarat is the only state where you should come. So what they are doing, they are promoting their tourism by using a species. So they have made a species their icon, brand ambassador, or a symbol. So when you use a species for marketing or advertisement, that species becomes your flagship species. For example, look at this species. This is giant panda. Giant panda. Now, giant panda is a flagship species of China. China promotes their tourism or attracts tourists by using this. That if you want to see giant panda in nature, in its original home, China is the only country of the world. Because they are found only in China. And China takes complete advantage of it. And lakhs of tourists every year they go to China to see this. This species brings millions of dollars in revenue to China in tourism. Because if you want to see this in nature, China is the only country. So this is the flagship species of China. So what is a flagship species? When you make a species your brand ambassador, icon, or a symbol. Read about it. Are you clear on these three definitions? What is umbrella, keystone, or what is flagship species? Done? Okay. Be clear on the definitions, they come in your current affairs. Okay. So let's get back to theory portion and we will discuss about hotspots. Biodiversity hotspots. What are biodiversity hotspots? They are large area, vast area, very big. It has got two characteristics. You will find so many species there. It has high biodiversity, high species biodiversity. Second, it will have presence of endemic species. You will find endemism. What is endemic species? Yes, which are present in one area only. So you will find lots of endemic species. And third, there is a threat of destruction. So when you see all of these properties together, you will call this place a hotspot. For example, This place in India is a biodiversity hotspot. Western Ghats. Western Ghats are considered hotspots of India, biodiversity hotspots. Why? Because they fulfill all the three criteria. You will find high species biodiversity in Western Ghats. So many species. Every year new species are discovered. Still, you will find endemic species in biodiversity in Western Ghats, which are found only in Western Ghats. And then Western Ghats are facing threat, a very big threat of destruction, deforestation, mining, encroachment. So there is a threat of man-made destruction also. So all of these properties you can fit in Western Ghats. So that is why Western Ghats are considered biodiversity hotspots of India. Okay. Read the first three lines. First three. First three lines only. Okay, so biodiversity hotspot is a concept of which organization? Conservation International. So Conservation International suggests to the countries and then countries declare. So this concept is developed by this organization. It is an international organization, Conservation International. It's a global organization. So this is their concept, having biodiversity hotspots all around the world so that we can conserve them, we can protect them. But then in your printout, criteria are given. On what basis you declare a hotspot? These are the properties of hotspot, but on what basis you can declare a hotspot? So let's see, what are the strict criteria? You will find them in that criteria. So I'll go to the strict criteria on which we declare a hotspot. See, there are two types of plants. There are two types of plants, vascular plants and non-vascular plants. Example, a mango tree. Mango tree has also got a root system. It is very big in size, got extensive root system. So mango tree will have presence of phloem and xylem. It will have presence of phloem and xylem. What phloem and xylem do in the body of a plant? They circulate food and water. This is the role of phloem and xylem. You also have a circulation mechanism in your body. Plants also need it. So that plant which has phloem and xylem in it, what you call that plant? Vascular plants. Generally big plants. But there is a non-vascular plant also. For example, algae. Algae is also a plant. It can also do photosynthesis. It is capable of making its own food. Algae is also a plant, but not big in size, small in size. So algae does not have xylem. Algae does not have phloem. Algae will not have neither xylem nor phloem because algae is too small. Algae does not need them. So what you will call algae? Algae is what type of plant? Non-vascular plant. So this is how you can differentiate. Okay. Look at your printout. Criteria on which the declaration is made. Declaration of what? Biodiversity hotspot. Like on what basis we declare a hotspot? Read criteria number 1. What it says? It must contain At least 1500 species. 1500 species of what? Vascular plant. If you want to declare a place as a hotspot, what is the criteria? It should have 1500 species. 1500 species of vascular plant. And 0.5% of them should be endemic. That minimum 1500 species should be present and 0.5% of them should be endemic. But 1500 species of what? Vascular plants, big plants. Read both the criteria. On what basis we declare a hotspot? Read both the criteria. Okay, what the first criteria says, how many species should be present? 1500. Of what? Vascular plants has phloem and xylem. And 0.5% should be endemic. What does the second criteria says? At least 70% of its habitat has been destroyed. So what you can take out from these 2 points? That hotspot has high biodiversity, endemism, and threat. Threat of what? Threat of destruction. So when you see all these properties, you call that place a hotspot, biodiversity hotspot. So in India, where you can see biodiversity hotspot? One place I told you, Western Ghats. But India has 4 biodiversity hotspots. Western Ghats. Mountains which run parallel to the western coast of India. Western Ghats. From Gujarat to Kerala. These mountains are India's biodiversity hotspot. Second place, Indo-Burma. Indo-Burma, this region, this yellow colored region that you see here, in our northeast India, Manipur, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Tripura, these states, they are part of Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot. Eastern Himalayas. Third, this red section that you see here, Eastern Himalayas, state of Sikkim, Assam, Arunachal, they come in this. And then fourth one, Sunda land. Sunda Islands are in Indonesia. So originally Sunda land is hotspot of Indonesia. But it's a very small portion comes in India. A very small portion of Sunda land falls in India here. Which portion of India comes in it? Nicobar Islands. Nicobar Islands are a very small portion of Sunda land. Otherwise, Sunda land is hotspot of Indonesia. So we will consider there are 4 hotspots in India. You can see them. How we have declared them? They have high species biodiversity. They have endemism, and they are facing a threat. Threat of what? Threat of destruction. So that is why we have declared them. Write their name here itself, the name of 4 biodiversity hotspots of India. Copied the names of hotspots? Okay. So let's see the next topic then. You will be getting these slides as well. I think it would have been forwarded to you. Biosphere reserves. What are they? Biosphere reserves are established for conservation. Conservation of what? Conservation of nature. Conservation of biodiversity. It is in the name itself, biosphere reserve. Why we will establish them? Because we want to conserve biodiversity. And culture. So biodiversity hotspots, biosphere reserves have twin purpose. They are established for the conservation of nature as well as culture. Both we want to conserve. But culture of what? What type of culture we want to conserve? Suppose in a forest, you will find high biodiversity in that forest. And in this forest, there also lives a tribe. Community is also living there, tribe is also living there. And suppose this tribe, which is living in the forest, has the knowledge of medicinal plants. They know about medicinal plants. They know the usage of medicinal plants. They know if you are suffering from fever, which plant can treat you. If you are having stomach ache, which plant can treat you. So this is their knowledge. It is very unique. It is not written anywhere. It is not mentioned in the book. It is not mentioned in the text. The knowledge is with them. What will happen? With time, this knowledge will also be gone. So you need to protect this knowledge. You need to protect this idea. So culture is related to ideas and knowledge. Ideas and knowledge of tribes. But this idea or knowledge should be related to environment. Okay? Once again understanding. Biosphere reserves Why we established them in India? We established them in India for the conservation of two things: conservation of nature, conservation of culture. But what type of culture? Culture related to ideas and knowledge of tribes. And that ideas should be related to environment, like knowledge of medicinal plants, conservation of forest, conservation of species. Let's say, for example, the tribe living here, they have a unique knowledge of storing water. They are storing rainwater since generations. So you can learn from them what they are doing to store rainwater. You can apply them in cities of India. This is a very unique knowledge that they have. So our objective is to protect the knowledge that these tribes have, because it is not written anywhere. It is not mentioned in any of the book. With time, this knowledge will be gone. So it is very important for us to protect the ideas and knowledge of the people living in the forest. So that is why we establish biosphere reserves. You understood the purpose of it? It is established for the twin purpose of conserving nature as well as culture. And one thing that you should understand, that whenever you talk about biosphere reserve, that this is a important point that you should understand. Biosphere reserves are very big. And if you compare biosphere reserve with a national parks are a very small area of a biosphere reserve. National park are very small as compared to biosphere reserve. There is a clear area of difference. National park and wildlife sanctuaries are a very small part of biosphere reserve. So area wise, they are very big, they are very vast. They can spread from up to more than 2 states. First difference, area. Biosphere reserves are very big as compared to national park. Second, first difference. Second, biosphere reserve believes in biosphere reserve believe in coexistence. Coexistence of what? Coexistence of nature and humans. So biosphere reserves are established on the belief that nature and humans, they can live together. So we need to conserve both. We need to conserve the nature and we need to conserve the culture of humans, ideas of humans. What you studied in national park yesterday? National park do not believe in coexistence, no human interference, only conservation. No human interference is needed or allowed in national park. So how you can differentiate national park and a biosphere reserve? First, national parks are small as compared to biosphere reserve. Clear difference of area. First. Second, biosphere reserves believe in coexistence. Both nature and humans can live together. National park, no coexistence. National park do not allow any human interference. So there are two differences. Now read this topic, biosphere reserve. See, that is an exception because all of our protected areas are in situ, but they do not come under the category of protected areas. They do not come in that list, but we are conserving the species in nature itself, so that is in situ. By default, our act do not recognize them as protected areas. Okay, so one portion I have underlined here. Do remember that also. Biosphere reserves are not considered what? A protected area in the country. Yesterday you have seen the list of protected areas. The name of biosphere reserve was not there. So biosphere reserves are not considered protected area in our country. Is it? Sorry, I didn't get that. Is it? No, no. Community reserves are very small as compared to biosphere reserves, and community reserves are protected areas. Community reserves, people volunteer, themselves volunteer. How many biosphere reserves are there in India? 18. So take out your notebook and write down biosphere reserves of India. Biosphere reserve of India. Okay. Write down the first name, Great Run of Kutch. Great Run of Kutch. Gujarat. Asia's largest grassland, Bunny grasslands. Asia's largest grassland, Bunny grasslands, are located here. Are located here. Second, Gulf of Mannar. Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu. India's first marine biosphere reserve. India's first marine biosphere reserve, known for corals and dugong. Known for corals and dugong. Next, Sundarbans. Sundarbans, West Bengal. West Bengal. Situated in Ganga Brahmaputra Delta. Situated in Ganga Brahmaputra Delta and is largest mangrove forest of the world. Largest mangrove forest of the world. Next, cold desert. Himachal Pradesh. known for snow leopard, known for snow leopard and red fox and red fox. Next, Nanda Devi. Uttarakhand. Situated near holy place, situated near holy place of Badrinath, situated near holy place of Badrinath, Valley of Flowers, Valley of Flowers National Park is Valley of Flowers National Park a part of is a part of this biosphere reserve. Is a part of this biosphere reserve. Write down next. Nilgiri. Kerala, Karnataka, Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. First, first biosphere reserve of India. First biosphere reserve of India. Full stop. Meeting point of Western and Eastern Ghats. Meeting point of Western and Eastern Ghats. Known for Neela Kurinji, known for Neela Kurinji flowers, known for Neela Kurinji flowers. Okay, Neela Kurinji flowers blossom once in 12 years. They will blossom only once in 12 years. So when they blossom, they are of blue color. So when they blossom, and if you are looking at mountains from a distance, the mountains will appear blue because of the color of the flower. So that is why you call them Nilgiri, the blue mountains, because of the flower, which blossoms once in 12 years only. Write down the next one. Dihang Dibang. Arunachal Pradesh. Dihang Dibang, Arunachal Pradesh. Located at the meeting point, located at the meeting point of Dihang and Dibang rivers, of Dihang and Dibang rivers, which are tributaries of Brahmaputra, which are tributaries of Brahmaputra. Next, Pachmadi. Madhya Pradesh. A popular hill station. A popular hill station. Satpura National Park. Satpura National Park is part of Satpura National Park is part of this biosphere reserve. Known for flying squirrel. Known for flying squirrel. Next, Seshachalam. Andhra Pradesh. Known for red senders. Known for red senders tree. Next is Simlipal. Simlipal, Odisha. Simlipal, Odisha. Write down. Has the presence of moist deciduous and semi-evergreen forest. And is known for wild buffaloes. Write down next. Two names are there. Achanakmar, Amarkantak. Achanakmar, Amarkantak. It's on the border of two states. Achanakmar comes under Chhattisgarh. Amarkantak comes under Madhya Pradesh. Achanakmar is in Chhattisgarh. Amarkantak is in Madhya Pradesh. A dense forest region and is the origin of Son, S-O-N, Son and Narmada rivers. And is the origin of Son and Narmada rivers. Next is Manas. Assam. Manas is in Assam. Situated on international border between India and Bhutan. Situated on international border between India and Bhutan. And is named after Manas River. Which is tributary of and is named after Manas river, which is tributary of Brahmaputra. Known for one-horn rhinos, known for one-horn rhinos, elephants, and tigers. Known for one-horn rhinos, elephants, and tigers. Next, Kanchenjunga. Kanchenjunga. Kanchenjunga is in Sikkim. Write down. Named after Kanchenjunga mountain peak, named after Kanchenjunga mountain peak, and is part of Great Himalayas, in Sikkim. It is the only World Heritage Site. It is the only World Heritage Site from India. It is the only World Heritage Site from India which comes under mixed category. Full stop. Okay. So what you have written, that this Kanchenjunga Biosphere Reserve is a World Heritage Site, but under which category? Mixed category. See, there are three types of World Heritage Site. Cultural World Heritage Site, like Taj Mahal, Sun Temple, Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminal, Mumbai. They all are cultural heritage sites. They have some cultural significance. Then you have natural World Heritage Sites, like Western Ghats, Valley of Flowers. They are natural World Heritage Sites. And a place which has got combination of both, cultural World Heritage Site, natural World Heritage Site, that comes under mixed category. So from India, only one World Heritage Site comes under mixed category, Kanchenjunga. It has got some natural significance, it has got some historical significance. So this is the only World Heritage Site from India which comes under mixed category. Write assignment. Read about natural World Heritage Sites. Read about natural World Heritage Sites from India. Just see that how many natural World Heritage Sites are present. Where are they? What are their names? First is Western Ghats. Okay. There are others also. Come back to this. Next is Agasthyamala. Agasthyamala Biosphere Reserve. Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Right now. Part of Western Ghats. Part of Western Ghats. Full stop. Highest peak of Western Ghats. Highest peak of Western Ghats. Anaimudi. Highest peak of Western Ghats, Anaimudi, is located here. Highest peak of Western Ghats, Anaimudi, is located here. Write down the next. Great Nicobar. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Andaman and Nicobar Islands has a presence of 5 different types of forest. 5 different types of forest, and is known for endemic species. Write down next. Nokrek. Meghalaya. Nokrek, Meghalaya. Known for very dense forests. And high rainfall. Known for very dense forests and high rainfall. This place is considered sacred. This place is considered sacred by Garo tribes. By Garo, G-A-R-O, Garo tribes. This place is considered sacred by Garo tribes. Next, Dibru Saikhowa. Assam. Another home of one-horn rhinos. In India. Now the last one remains Panna. Panna Biosphere Reserve, Madhya Pradesh. See, Panna, its name was kept because there used to be diamond mines here previously. Mines are not there. Mines have ended. So it is named after those diamond mines, Panna. Now in this place, you will find nearby to this place a very popular destination, Khajuraho temples. So it is situated very close to the Khajuraho temples. Okay. Write down. Named after diamond mines which were present here earlier, situated close to Khajuraho temples. Known for and is known for tigers and vultures. Full stop. It is in news because of river linking river linking project of Ken and Betwa. Write this as your assignment. Read about Kane Betwa linking project. Read about Kane Betwa linking project. Clear till this point? These are 18 biosphere reserves of India. So just recall, what is a biosphere reserve? Biosphere reserves are established for the purpose of two things, nature and culture. So the next topic that we will discuss is related to it only. MAB, MAB. MAB's full form is Man and Biosphere. This is what we will discuss. Man and Biosphere is a international tag. It is a international tag. Who gives this international tag? UNESCO gives this international tag. UNESCO gives this international tag to whom? What topic you are studying right now? So this tag is given to biosphere reserves. Okay. So UNESCO identifies some unique biosphere reserves and give them this international tag, that this is a biosphere reserve under MAB category. So if something unique is present in that biosphere reserve, some unique species, some unique knowledge, so UNESCO gives them an international tag that this biosphere reserve comes under the category of MAB. Just understand this importance of an international tag. Apply our relation. See, UNESCO comes under UN. They give international tag. For example, UNESCO gives international tag of World Heritage Sites. UNESCO identifies World Heritage Site all over the earth. Suppose a place gets this tag. Let's say a place in India, Sun Temple, is a World Heritage Site. So Sun Temple has got an international from UNESCO. What is the benefit for Sun Temple? See, international tag will make the place popular. Make the place popular, and what will increase? Tourism will increase. More people will come to that place. It has got an international recognition. International tag will improve the management of that place, because now that place has got an international recognition. So you have to improve the management. So if a place gets international tag, it gets some benefits. Apply the same logic on this tag, Man and Biosphere. What this initiative is? It is a international tag. Who gives this international tag? UNESCO. To whom? Biosphere Reserve. So if a Biosphere Reserve gets this tag, what will improve in this Biosphere Reserve? More people will come. It has got an international recognition. It will become popular. Tourism will increase, revenue will increase. And what will improve in this Biosphere Reserve? Management will improve, because now you have to manage it according to international standards. So MAB is an international tag given by UNESCO, given to whom? Biosphere reserves. If something unique is present in that, so UNESCO gives them an international tag. Read this, MAB. Okay. So MAB is an international tag given by UNESCO. You have written the name of 18 biosphere reserves of India. How many of 18 have got a MAB tag? 12. Out of 18, how many of India's biosphere reserves have this international tag? 12. Okay, look at this list. Out of it, these 12 have MAB tag. So the list that you have just made, cross-check it. If you find the name of the biosphere reserve, put a star mark on the biosphere reserve. So that star mark will mean MAB tag. It has got an international tag. So the same topic would be revised in the same list. Just cross-check it, start putting star mark on the name of that biosphere reserve which you have written. That star mark means MAB tag. So have you cross-checked the list? Put the star mark on the name of 12 biosphere reserves. Done with this? Okay. So in the topic of biodiversity, we will move ahead and we will talk about what are the provisions in our country to protect biodiversity. We will talk about acts which are there in our country to protect the forest, to protect the environment. So the very first act that we will discuss is Biodiversity Act. Page number 18, Biodiversity Act. So Biodiversity Act came into existence in 2002. So there are many acts in our country which talks about conservation of forest. But before going into acts, let's see what Constitution says about environment. In Constitution, you will find mention of environment. These two articles specifically talks about environment. Article 48, which is DPSP. DPSP, what is the outline of that article? It says that whenever government should make a policy, they should consider environment conservation. That is what the outline of that article is. That whenever state government or central government is making a policy, they should consider environment conservation. That without environment conservation, you cannot have development. This is what the article talks about. Article 51A, subsection G, is your fundamental duty. So what is fundamental duty of every citizen? To protect environment. This is the fundamental duty of every Indian citizen, to protect environment and wildlife. Have a compassion for living beings. This is the fundamental duty. So directly, environment conservation is mentioned here in the Constitution. And with the recent judgments of Supreme Court, recent judgments that have come up in last 5 to 7 years, which is your fundamental right? Right to life. Is your fundamental right, Article 21, right to life and liberty. So, in recent Supreme Court judgments, under Article 21, which is your fundamental right, this is also a part of it. That this is fundamental right of every Indian citizen, right to healthy environment. If you are violating your right, then you have a option to approach the court, because fundamental rights are legally binding. You can file a writ in the court. So if you look at Constitution, these are the articles which directly talks about conservation of environment. Okay. Write it as your homework, read about these 3 articles. Write the number of these 3 articles, read about them. Sorry? 48A, yes, that is 48A. Okay. So read about these articles which talks about environment conservation. Now we will talk about specific acts. What acts are there in our country? So the very first act that we will discuss is Biodiversity Act. Okay. Biodiversity Act came into existence in 2002. Now, why this act came? So whenever you study act, try to understand the history behind that act. So this act came because India has signed CBD in 1992. India is signatory to CBD. You know about CBD, Convention on Biodiversity. Remember Earth Summit? There were 5 agreements. This was one of them. If you recall Earth Summit, which we discussed few days back, 5 agreements were there. UNFCCC, this was also there. Convention on Biodiversity. So India has signed this document in 1992. So if India wants to implement CBD, that we want to implement CBD in our country, we need to make an act first. Just signing an agreement will not implement the agreement in our country. You have to make an act for that. So this is the most logical thing that you can understand, that why India came up with this act. Because India wants to implement CBD. India is signatory to CBD. And you want to implement international agreement, you have to make an act for that. So that is why India made this act. Second reason of India coming up with this act was to stop biopiracy from India. Now this is a major problem in our country, biopiracy. What is biopiracy? What do you understand by this? By this word, biopiracy, what it means? No, that is a different thing. It is not smuggling. Smuggling is different. It's not smuggling. No. Yes, anyone? What is biopiracy? Louder, please. Yeah. Using benefits without giving reference or without acknowledging. Okay. Somewhat correct. Good. What else? See, biopiracy, piracy word you associate with movie industry. That a movie is released and its print comes in the same day on internet, the movie is leaked. Piracy has happened. You associate piracy word with software. That a software is released and it's present on internet. Biopiracy is a word associated with environment. When your knowledge, when someone steals your ideas. For example, in India, there is a knowledge or there is a practice that if you crush neem leaves, you will get a liquid, neem extract. You spread that liquid in your home gardens or in your farmland. It will act as a natural insecticide. So neem extract is a natural insecticide. It is used in major portion of India. What happened 20-30 years back, that a US company claimed that this neem extract is their invention. Using neem extract as insecticide is their invention. So they tried to patent it. They want to get all the rights. So they applied for the patent. India objected that this is not their invention. We are doing this since quite a long time. India won that case in WTO. Now, if India would have lost the case, what would have happened? All the rights of neem extract would have went to that company, and that company would have manufactured neem extract. So right now you would have been purchasing neem extract from that company at a very high price. So what they tried to do, they tried to steal your knowledge, they tried to steal your idea, they tried to patent it, and they tried to earn profit out of it. But luckily India won that case. Second case, basmati rice. Basmati rice is grown in India. Many varieties of basmati rice is grown in India. What happened in 90s, a US company, they claimed that one of the variety of basmati rice is their invention. They applied for the patent. India objected, but India lost the case. So what happened? The copyright of that basmati rice variety went to that US company. So it means if you want to grow that variety of basmati rice, you have to purchase seeds from that company because they have got all the copyrights. So what they did, they took your knowledge, they took your ideas, patented it, took all the copyrights, and now they are earning profit out of it. So this is biopiracy. When someone steals your idea, someone steals your knowledge, and takes all the copyrights, earns profit out of it. So this is a very big threat in front of India. Someone stealing our knowledge, someone stealing our ideas. Because in India, you will find so much ideas, so much knowledge related to environment, especially among the tribes living in the forest. Write down a question. What is biopiracy? What is biopiracy? Give some incidences. Give some incidences of biopiracy. Give some incidences of biopiracy from India. 150 words. Okay. Read first three lines only. Biodiversity Act. Okay. First three lines only. Okay. Let's understand the further details of this act, further provisions of this act. So under this act, three organizations were set up. Three organizations were set up under this act. Read the full form of these three. It is written in your printout. NBA is National Biodiversity Authority. SBB is State Biodiversity Board, and BMC is Biodiversity Management Committee. So three organizations were set up. NBA, National Biodiversity Authority. So this organization works at national level. State Biodiversity Board, this works at state level. BMC works at regional level. So you have a clear hierarchy, a national level organization, state level organization, and a regional level organization under this act. This national level organization is situated in Chennai. Where is the headquarter of NBA? It is in Chennai, National Biodiversity Authority. Yesterday we were discussing green credits. So green credits program in India is managed by NBA, National Biodiversity Authority. Yesterday only we discussed. Okay. So their headquarter is in Chennai. State Biodiversity Board. Every state capital you will find them. Every state capital has their State Biodiversity Board. While BMC is at rural level. So this is their hierarchy. This is the setup. A national level organization, a state level, and a regional level. These two are government offices. They are government departments. National level and state level organization, both of them are government department. You getting selected into service, you might work here. You might serve in these organizations. They are part of government. But this BMC does not come under government. BMC is made by the common man of that area. It is not a government office. People living in that area will make a BMC. So first two are government offices. This regional level organization is made by the common man of that region. It is not a government office. So this is the hierarchy we should be clear at. Now, what these organizations do? Consider there is a foreign company. There is a foreign company which belongs to some other country, a foreign company. They want to come to India. A foreign company wants to come to India and utilize our natural resources. So if they are interested in utilizing our natural resources, maybe for research, maybe for commercial purpose, what they have to take permission from? They have to take permission from NBA. If a foreign company wants to come to India, utilize our resources, whether for research, whether for commercial purpose, they need permission. From where they have to take permission? From NBA. Now consider if the same work has to be done by an Indian company. If any Indian company wants to utilize India's natural resources for commercial, for research, from where they have to take permission? State biodiversity board. So if a foreign company is there, they need to go to national level organization. If an Indian company is there, they will take permission from state level organization because they are government office. You need permission from the government. They are government offices. But both of them need to consult the local BMC before giving the permission. Okay. They cannot give the permission to a company until unless they consult with the people living in that area. So this is the hierarchy you have to understand. There is a national level organization, there is a state level organization. They come under government. They are responsible to give permissions for usage of resources. But they cannot give permissions directly until unless what they do, they consult with BMC, the locals. So you can see here that this organization has got decision making power, consultation needs to be done with them. So this is how the act works. This is what the provision of act. Now the question is why your national level organization or state level organization has to consult local level organization. Why it is needed? They can give permission directly. Why they have to consult with them? See, they have to consult with them because resources belong to people. They have the first right on the resources. You are living in an area, a mineral water company wants to develop a unit in your area. Who will be first affected? You will be first affected. Because mineral water company will take the groundwater, produce mineral water and sell that in the market. Who will be affected? You will be affected. Because in your area, groundwater level will go down. So that is why it needs to be consulted from you first. Because locals have the first right on the resources, not the government. So that is why the consultation needs to be done. So read about a court case, which is a very popular court case. It ran for years. When you read about that court case, you will understand why this happens. Okay, what is the need of this? It is just for your understanding, not for your exam point of view. But read about that court case. Write down Coca-Cola versus Gram Panchayat. Coca-Cola versus Gram Panchayat of Plachimada. Gram Panchayat of Plachimada. 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 So this court case between Gram Panchayat and Coca-Cola You will find many articles on internet about it. What happened, why this case was there, and what was the court result, court judgment. So when you'll read that, you will understand that the power to locals should be given. Okay. Now what you do, page number 19. You have to read till second last paragraph. Don't read the last paragraph of this act. It is a comprehensive information. You have to read above that. So start reading and read till second last paragraph. How many members are there in a BMC? 6. Okay, so there is one more function of BMC written there. It is underlined also that BMC has to make People's Biodiversity Register. They have to make a document. Its name is People's Biodiversity Register. So what is People's Biodiversity Register? Yeah. Look at this image. This is People's Biodiversity Register. A BMC of Himachal Pradesh has made this. So this is a government document. It is a government document and it is a very big document, very bulky document. What is this register? This register will have all information about biodiversity. Suppose a BMC is making this register. So in this register, complete detail of biodiversity of that area would be given. So if you read this register, it will have all the details of biodiversity of that area. See. What details it contains? You need not to remember this. This is just for your understanding. you have to fill different forms in this register. Like form number 1, it is for crops. So just see how much detail you have to put. Write the name of the crops which you grow in your area. Write its scientific name, local name. How much area is covered by this crop? How much area you grow in which you grow this crop? What is the special feature or cropping season of this? And most importantly, this section, associated TK. TK stands for traditional knowledge. Traditional knowledge. Traditional knowledge means what are your ideas? What are your knowledge related to this crop? Is there a special method, unique method in your area by which you grow this crop? Is there a special usage, unique usage that you guys know about this crop? Write that. So do this for every crop. So just understand how much detail you have to put in this form. And this is just one form. There are many forms like this which you need to fill for the register. You need not to remember this, just for your understanding. See, for example, this is form number 9. Water bodies. What are which type of water bodies are present in your area? Tanks, ponds, rivers, lakes. Write about them. What type of flowers you see, plants you see around that water body? What type of animals you see around that water body? But most importantly, this section. Associated TK, traditional knowledge. So write down, do you know any special method to conserve water? Is there a special way popular in your area by which you are conserving water or storing water? So write all your ideas, all your knowledge here. So you have to fill forms for mammals, birds, reptiles, medicinal plant, every single detail you have to write. And for every single form, you have to write ideas. What is your knowledge related to biodiversity? Then only this biodiversity register completes. So the biodiversity register that you are looking at here, what I told you, it has all the details of biodiversity. It is a government document. It contains all the ideas, all the knowledge related to biodiversity. Now, what is the use of making such a heavy document? Why we should invest so much effort in this? What I told you, India wants to control biopiracy. So biopiracy, when it happens, when someone steals your ideas and patents it. Patent is given only to unique inventions. Now imagine in future, someone steals your ideas and they tries to patent it. So you can show the document that this is not their invention. We have already written it. Patent is given to unique inventions. Patent is not given to an idea which is already existing. So if you write all your ideas, all your knowledge beforehand, then no one can steal your ideas. No one can patent it. Biopiracy will completely stop from India. That is what you were studying. What is the purpose of this act? To conserve biodiversity and to stop biopiracy. So this register will stop biopiracy from India. Also, the conservation of natural resources will happen. Now complete this. Complete the last para. So are you clear on the provisions of this act? What is Biodiversity Act and what purpose it serves? We'll resume after a break then. Okay, let's resume then. So we were discussing Biodiversity Act, but recently some amendments have been made. This act was amended recently, or made in 2023. So try to understand these amendments and what it changes. You have studied the original act. What changes have been made now? Ayush practitioners. Ayush practitioner means those persons or doctors, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha or homeopathy. Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha or homeopathy. These are medicinal systems. So those people who are into this medicinal systems, you call them Ayush practitioners. Now in this medicinal systems, medicines are made from mostly from plants. You need medicinal plants from the forest to make a medicine. You can take example of Ayurveda. Most of the medicines are made up of plants. So if there is a Ayush practitioner and he wants to make medicine by using knowledge of a tribe, he is using a formula, he is using a knowledge of tribe, making a medicine, making a prescription. So ideally, this person is using knowledge of the tribe. So whatever benefit he earns, whatever money he earns, he should share with the people, because this person is using the knowledge of the tribe, making a medicine, making a formula and earning profit. So if a Ayush practitioner is using the knowledge of the tribe to make medicines, he should share the benefits. This is what the act says. But the recent amendment has changed this provision, that Ayush practitioners need not to share the benefits with the locals. So this has created a controversy, that if you are using someone's knowledge, you should share the benefits with that person. But here what the act amendment is saying, that Ayush practitioners can use the knowledge of the tribe, knowledge of the communities to make a medicine. They need not to share the benefits. So what it will lead to? It will lead to exploitation of knowledge. So when this amendment came, lots of debate happened, but nothing changed. Government did this amendment. Okay. So this is a controversial thing. Ideally should not have happened, but has happened. So they have made a loophole in the act, in this amendment. Amendment says that if Ayush practitioner is using codified traditional knowledge, then he need not to share the benefits. This is the provision in the amendment. Okay, what it means? Ideally, Ayush practitioners should share the benefits. This is what what used to happen earlier. Amendment says if a Ayush practitioner is using codified traditional knowledge, they need not to share the benefit. But what is codified traditional knowledge? No one knows. Nothing written in the act. Suppose you are a Ayush practitioner, Ayurveda doctor. You make a medicine using knowledge of the people. You earn profit. You sell your prescription in market, you earn profit. Now when the turn comes that you have to share the benefits with the people, you can say that I have used codified traditional knowledge. Who knows what is codified traditional knowledge? Not written anywhere else. So this is a loophole that they have identified, that experts have identified, that anyone can claim that I am using codified traditional knowledge, I'll not share the benefits, I'll not give my money to someone. So that is a problem in this amendment. Are you clear on the amendment? Write down in your notebook. Amendments under Biodiversity Act. Amendments under Biodiversity Act. Write in bullet points. They were made in 2023. They were made in 2023. Write the next point. Ayush practitioners. In bracket write down Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, 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 and homeopathy. Siddha and homeopathy. Bracket close. Need not to share the benefits with the local communities. Need not to share the benefits with the local communities if they are using codified traditional knowledge. If they are using codified traditional knowledge. Change the line. There is no description or mention. There is no description or mention of what is codified traditional knowledge. Of what is codified traditional knowledge. So it creates a loophole. Which can be used to deny benefit sharing to locals. Which can be used to deny benefit sharing to locals. First. Next amendment that they have made. Earlier, what used to happen, Ayush practitioners need to have a prior approval. They need to take prior approval from State Biodiversity Board. Let's say you are a Ayush practitioner. You want to use some natural resource for your medicine. You have to take permission from State Biodiversity Board. Then only you can use that natural resource. But now this provision has been changed. No prior approval needed. Inform SBB only after getting patent. So this will again lead to exploitation. You can use natural resources, you need not to take permission. Once you get the patent done, once you get the copyright, then inform that I was using this natural resource, I have developed a medicine, and I have got the patent. So now I am informing. So when you have done all the things, then you are informing. So what is the use of that? What is the use of this organization? What this organization is for? To give you approval, whether you are allowed or not. But now the provision has been changed. No prior approval is needed. First, utilize the resource, do all the experiments, take a patent, then inform. Okay? It will again lead to exploitation of resources. Right now, Second Amendment. Earlier, prior approval of state biodiversity board was needed for the utilization of natural resources. But now Ayush practitioners need to inform state biodiversity board only after receiving the patent for their prescription. Third Amendment is decriminalization of the act, which has again created some of the debate. See, earlier what used to happen, you are utilizing resources without informing, without taking permissions. This is a offense. So if caught, you might go to jail. It's a criminal offense. But now what the amendment has done? No jail term. If you are an offender under this act, if you break a law, if you break a provision under this act, no jail term, only fine. So decriminalization has been done, and instead of jail term, fine will be imposed on you. And if you are a regular offender, if you do this again, more fine, but no jail term. So what it will do? You have relaxed the provision. Now no one would be afraid of this. Earlier people were afraid to break the law, that if I violate this act, I might end up in jail. But now there is no jail. Let's say you are very well off. You utilize the resources, break any provision under this act. Fine would be imposed on you. You pay the fine, everything is okay. And then there is another problem. Who will impose the fine? Who will decide the fine? A person of joint secretary level. A bureaucrat of joint secretary level. What he will decide? The limit of fine is this is limit of the fine. So understand, this person will decide how much money you have to pay. So he has got the authority to put a fine on you. There is no provision on which he has to decide. It's completely on his mindset. So if you are giving power to single person that he can impose a fine from 1 lakh to 1 crore, so that means there is no transparency. It is totally on the understanding of this person. What it will lead to? It will lead to opaqueness, it will lead to corruption. Giving too much power to one post. And with that, there is no transparency. So this act comes up, this amendment brings decriminalization and too much authority to a single person. This is another problem with the amendment. Right now, amendment decriminalizes amendment decriminalizes the act, and jail term instead of jail term, comma, fine would be fine would be imposed fine would be imposed on the offender. Fine would be imposed on offender. Also, the authority to decide also the authority to decide the fine will be given to a bureaucrat. Also, authority to decide of the fine would be given to a bureaucrat of joint secretary level. Joint secretary level, full stop. Next line. The limit of fine varies from 1 lakh to 1 crore rupees, comma, there is no clear guideline on which the imposition would be done, comma, it may lead to opaqueness and corruption. Full stop. Are you done with the amendments? Clear? So come back to the printout. Next act that we will see is Forest Act 1927. Forest Act 1927, almost 100-year-old act. It was made by the Britishers, but we are still following it. So why we are following an act which was made by the Britishers? Why we have not changed it after independence? So there is a reason why we follow this act. So you have to understand the historical background of this act, then things would become clear. See, this act has following provisions. First, this act gives what this act do? It gives complete control of the forest to the government. That means government has complete authority over the forest. And government can decide what rights should be given to you, what rights related to forest should be given to you. So government can give you rights anytime. Similarly, government can take away your rights anytime. Government has got complete control over India's forest. So they can take any decision. This is what this act says. This act gives complete control to the government over the forest. That is why Britishers made this act. Britishers made this act in 1927 to have a complete control over India's forest. That Britishers want to take India's forest into their administration, so that they can take any decision, they can take away the rights, they can give the rights. So nothing has changed. Now, after independence, government has got the power to make decisions related to forest. That is why we follow it. So earlier the control was with Britishers. Now the control of forest is with government. So that is why we follow this act. Second reason why we follow this act. We follow this act because it defines punishable offenses. What is not allowed in the forest? What is not permitted in the forest? You cannot go inside the forest and cut a tree. It is a punishable offense. You cannot take your animals inside for grazing. You cannot start a fire in the forest. All are punishable offenses. If a person is caught doing this punishable offenses, then punishment would be given to him under this act. So that is why this act is followed, because it defines punishable offenses. So Britishers, when they come up with this act, they define what is not allowed in the forest. So same thing is applicable in present. You cannot go inside the forest and cut a tree. You cannot go inside a forest and start a fire. You cannot take your animals inside for grazing without permission. It is a punishable offense. So if a person is caught doing these things, he would be booked under this act. So that is why we follow this act, because it defines punishable offenses. Third reason why we follow this act. Why we are following an act made by Britishers? Because this act impose tax. Tax on what? Forest products. This act imposes a tax on forest products. You use certain products from the forest: wood, grass, medicinal plant, rubber, honey, bamboo, many different products we use. So its usage is not free. If you are taking something from the forest, you have to pay a tax. So there is a tax on the forest products, on its usage. You are using a forest product, you have to pay a tax to the government. Even if you are transporting them, even if you are transporting the forest products, you have to pay the tax to the government. How they collect the tax? Let's say you are an industrialist. You are taking wood from forest department. You go to forest department and you are taking wood from them. Now you are taking wood from forest department plantation to your industry. You are transferring it. So in that transfer, you have to pay a tax. So tax is imposed on you if you are using a forest product, if you are transferring a forest product. So Britishers decided this, that if forest products has to be used, you have to pay a tax. So this provision is still applicable. Nothing has changed, still applicable. If you are using something from the forest, it is not free. You have to pay a tax to the government. So all these provisions were made by the Britishers in 1927. But they are still applicable. Now government has complete control of the forest. Earlier Britishers had. Punishable offenses, what is not allowed in the forest? So still they are punishable offenses. You cannot go inside a forest and cut a tree. It is an offense. Britishers imposed a tax on forest product. So it is still applicable. You are using something from the forest, you have to pay a tax. So if you understand why Britishers made this act, these three reasons. But these three reasons are still applicable. So that is why we still follow this act. Nothing has changed. Even after independence, we are following this act because these provisions are still applicable. Clear on this? Now complete the reading of this Forest Act. See, it is written in the fourth line, to regulate movement and transit of forest produce. So transit means transport. So whenever you are transporting, you have to pay a tax. Duty leviable. Duty leviable means tax. It's written duty leviable, it means a tax. Whenever you are using a forest product, you are transporting, you have to pay a tax. Okay. So if you have any doubt in any of the lines here, you can ask. Sorry, which one you are asking? The act mainly focuses on the forest land, its produce, and the officers where they're okay. So it talks about the detailed administration of forest department. Administration which would be done by the forest department, whereas there is no detailed provisions for the fauna. It does not talks about animals. you have a separate act for animals, Wildlife Act. So it does not talk about the acts because Britishers made this act, but they were hunting also. They used to hunt wild animals. So Britishers never made an act to stop hunting. This act is about the cutting of trees, taking medicinal plants. See, what is a punishable offense according to Britishers? Punishable offense is you cannot go inside a forest, cut a tree. You cannot go inside a forest, take your animals for grazing. So they deliberately did that. They did not include hunting in this because Britishers used to hunt. So for them, hunting was not a punishable offense. Okay. But when India got independent, India made a separate act to stop hunting, Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, we'll talk about the next act then. Next act is Forest Conservation Act 1980. So let's understand the history behind this act. In 1950, when Constitution came into force, so forest was kept in state list. So we are studying the history behind this act. So when India became independent, developed a constitution, forest was kept in state list. So there are three lists in constitution: state list, union list, and concurrent list. Forest was kept in state list. So it means state government has got complete power over the forest. State government can take any decision with respect to forest. They need not to ask center. If a subject is in the state list, what it means? State government can take any decision. They need not to ask center. So what happened? Due to this, state government all over India started giving permission for deforestation. If road has to be constructed, permission for deforestation is given. If highways are constructed, mining is done, permission for deforestation is given. State government will give that. They need not to ask the center. So what happened due to this? India's forest suffered. Large scale deforestation happened in India. India's forest suffered heavy losses because of the decisions of state government. It continued and India's forest was suffering. So in 1973, due to this large scale deforestation which was happening, a people's movement was started. People protested against deforestation. Deforestation which was happening in a small village in Uttarakhand. that time Uttar Pradesh. So people came out, they protested that we will not allow deforestation to happen, and tree hugging was started. That if you have to cut down a tree, you have to kill us first. So this movement got spread to a large area. It was started in a small village, it spread. And it became a very big movement. And the news reached center that people all over India are protesting against deforestation. So center took a very serious notice of this, and in 1976 this amendment was made in constitution. 42nd amendment was made, and under this amendment forest was shifted to which list? Instead of a state list, it was shifted to concurrent list. What it means? If a subject comes under concurrent list, both state government and central government can take a decision. Both can take a decision. But priority would be given to central government. If central government makes an act on forest, priority would be given to their act. In the same sequence, 1980, this act came. So if you understand the chronology, you will understand the act. 50% of your work is done if you understand this. So if you understand why this act came into existence, this act came in existence because of deforestation. So what this act is all about? This act is about controlling deforestation. Forest Conservation Act. What this act says? This act says if state government has to do deforestation, they have to take permission from central government. What the act says? If state government has to do deforestation, they cannot do it on their own. They have to take permission from central government. So that is why India's forest was saved. So the forest that you see right now, why it is there? It is there because of this act. Now, if this act was not passed, would the forest that you see around you would have gone. So this act saved the India's forest. Otherwise, the deforestation which was happening in India, it caused heavy damage to India's forest. This act saved India's forest. Otherwise, state governments were destroying the forest all over India. Now, state governments cannot do this. If deforestation has to be done, there is a proper mechanism. They have to take permission and approval from central government. And it is not easy. The approvals are not easy. Are you clear on this act? Copy this. You will not find this in any of your book or study material. Because to understand the act, you have to understand the history behind that act. If history is clear, 50% of your work is done. Copy this and read about this completely. So if you have doubts in any of the lines, you can ask. In the last paragraph, however, the same person, this one. Can you read this? Which one? Okay. Non-forest purposes. There is a term written here, non-forest purposes. What it means, you cannot cut the forest for non-forest purposes. What is a non-forest purpose? Mining, highways, even plantation. See, it is the logic given most of the time that you are cutting the forest and you are doing plantation. Plantation, trees are planted, rubber, eucalyptus. Okay. So what you are doing, you are destroying the natural forest and planting only one species. So that is the logic which is given most of the time, that we are cutting the forest but we are planting trees. What is the problem? So the act says non-forest purposes, that for certain purposes deforestation would never be allowed. You cannot cut a forest for a non-forest purpose. Plantation is a non-forest purpose. So what it is written, it means cleaning forest land or the portion for what? For purpose of planting tea, coffee, spices, rubber. These are plantations. So you cannot cut a forest and do plantation. It would never be allowed. Plantations is a non-forest purpose. Permission will never be given for them. For oil-bearing plants, medicinal plant, or any other purpose other than afforestation. Afforestation means you are planting trees, different trees. For that permission can be given. Like you are cutting the forest in which invasive species, non-useful species are present, and you are planting some useful species. So for that the permission can be given. Permission can be given for afforestation, but permission will not be given for non-forest purposes. You cannot cut a forest for a non-forest purpose, but if you are doing afforestation, you are planting some useful species, some species which can improve the environment, then the permission can be given to you. Are you clear on this? Yeah. Any other doubt? So I told you the amendment of Biodiversity Act. Similarly, this was also amended in 2023. Write it as your homework. Read about amendments of Forest Conservation Act. Read about amendments of Forest Conservation Act. Give it a reading. If you face any difficulty, do let me know. I'll explain that. But first, give it a reading yourself. See, I'll tell you one amendment under this act. Few amendments were made. One amendment I'll tell you. What you are reading, for non-forest purpose, deforestation would never be allowed. Permission will never be given for this. This is what the act says. You cannot cut a forest for non-forest purpose. Permission would be denied. But amendment says that if you are establishing a zoo, if you are having safari, that is tourism, if you are constructing constructing houses for forest department people, and for this you need to cut the forest. Okay, you need to cut the forest to start a zoo, to start tourism, or to construct houses. Then this will not be considered as non-forest purpose. Okay, try to understand. Earlier, they were non-forest purpose. Permissions were denied. But what the amendment says, if you are doing this and you have to cut the forest, this will not be considered as a non-forest purpose. So that means you can cut down the forest, start a zoo. You can cut down the forest, start tourism. You can cut down the forest for houses. It is a forest purpose. So this is again a controversial decision which has been taken, that you can cut down a forest to start a zoo. You can cut down a forest to start tourism. Earlier they were non-forest purpose, but now they are not considered non-forest purpose. So this is one amendment. There are 2 or 3 amendments more which has been made recently. So read about them. If you don't understand any point, do let me know, I'll explain that. So we completed 3 acts, 3 or 4 are still remaining, which we will do tomorrow. So from here we will continue tomorrow. Revise till this point.